Hi, my name's Chad Hatfield, a partner with Alaire Homes in Dallas, and lately our office has been getting a lot more calls for additions, really over the last 6 to 12 months, than we've experienced in the past. And I was looking online, doing some of my own research just to figure out what information is available for people, and I couldn't really find any good information on it. And I could find numbers like 125 to 400 plus dollars a square foot, and it's just a lot of confusing information. So thought we'd put together a little slideshow to help people understand what potential costs, timing, and where would they even start, what that could look like. So again, my name is Chad Hatfield, and I'm a partner in Alaire, and I'm a master certified kitchen and bath remodeler and certified remodeler who has been building and remodeling in Dallas since 2005. My goal in this slideshow, and really anytime I talk to anyone, is to help them find the right path for them. So that's regardless of the outcome, whether they do the project, don't do the project. It's just how do I help them find the right path for them and their family. Every one of them is unique. Every person is unique. I would say that some goals you could have would be so that you can truly make informed decisions so that you're not wasting money on time or emotion on design or planning if it's not ultimately the right thing. Very well could be, but I want you to be able to make informed decisions there. When we talk about additions, they tend to only make sense, in my opinion, in having hundreds and hundreds of these conversations about additions, is when somebody has very strong ties to that specific house, that specific neighborhood, and the area that it's in. And they're planning on staying there for at least 7 to 10 years. And I say that because additions almost always cost more than the value they add to the house. They're more complicated than interior remodels, and they take longer. And then you're also going to have to spend dollars before you have certainty about what the cost outcome could look like as well. A lot of the common questions that I get regarding additions are, number one, how much do they cost? Is it feasible to do to my house? How long does it take? What are the steps? How do I do this? The first one, how much does it cost? It depends. Every one of these is a unicorn, and there are lots of questions like, is this a first floor, second floor addition? Is it a pier and beam foundation or a slab? Do we have to do any work to the existing foundation? What's going to be below the addition? The HVAC system, are those getting replaced? Are they getting upsized? What's the current infrastructure of all the utilities look like around the house? How is it, if it's going to be over the middle of the house, is that going to raise the ridge line? Do we then have to make the front addition or the front elevation look correct so that the addition makes sense? There's just a ton of questions that goes into it, and square foot numbers are really not reliable. Even though I'm going to talk to you about square foot numbers are only reliable, in my opinion, in order to decide if it makes sense to take a step and invest money in design. So to do this, I want to show you a couple of examples of additions. This is one that we did in Plano, finished this last year. This was, if you look at the blue, there's the added on section of the house. We added a laundry, office, storage, bedroom, and bathroom on. That's what it looked like before and after. In this one, this is what it looked like before inside. It was really well laid out. The powder bathroom was essentially in the kitchen. Here's a top-down view of that. You can see in the top section, the new one, how much larger the kitchen is. There's no powder bathroom there anymore, thank goodness. Before and after. And then that one was not only an addition, but also a kitchen, fireplace, and some structural work downstairs. But if I back the addition out of it, it added about 600 square feet. It cost about $335 a square foot. Another example of one that has been in planning. This is currently a one-story house in North Dallas. It's a ranch house. It's been added onto the back before. But when we're adding on to the front of this house, we have to address the entire front elevation. And that means taking the roof off, going up over the front, redoing all the elevation on the front, taking all the brick off, just starting the front over. Here's what the floor plan downstairs would be like. We actually destroy a bedroom in this in order to create the staircase and then a laundry room. There's 3 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, and a loft upstairs. That one is adding about 1,300 square feet, and that one came out to be about $311 a square foot. And there wasn't a whole lot of things that were going to be disturbed downstairs other than destroying that one bedroom. We did have some choices in there, like we had to move an air conditioning unit or not move an air conditioning unit, which is about a $7,000 decision in their case. One more example, this one's down in the M Streets. It's a master bedroom and bathroom and closet addition that goes really on the back of the house. And in very rare form, we didn't have to touch the interior of the existing house. We're only going to be cutting a hole in the back wall to the new addition. There's what it looks like on the left now. This is a pretty small house. The living room and breakfast and kitchen are the only things downstairs. And you can see in the right, we're adding a powder bathroom, closet, master bathroom, and master bedroom. There's a couple of elevations, a rear elevation and a roof plan. That one priced out again about 600 square feet, about $355 a square foot. And that was in early to mid 2020. So when we think about additions, is it feasible? There's always is it feasible from a city standpoint, from an HOA standpoint? A good contractor or architect can help you with that. You can also see if you live in a neighborhood and there's been additions put on homes that are similar to what you're thinking about doing, chances are you're going to be okay with that. You absolutely need to check with the city and HOA. And again, a contractor or architect can do that. Sometimes the existing layout will determine whether or not an addition is going to be feasible. That's not usually the case, but it can be. This engineering is also another one. Will the foundation support this? But all of those things can be corrected usually. But the most common feasibility, all those things go back to cost. Anything is possible. It's really only how much is it going to cost, and that cost drives whether or not it's feasible. How long does it take? Planning and design, I would allow 4 months. It says 3 to 4. Right now, I would allow 4. If you have financing in there, you're probably going to add a month to that. The permitting time can overlap both of those. The construction timeline, this is in addition to the other things above, would be 5 to 8 months or longer depending on the complexity of the project. They really, the biggest mistakes I've seen people make in 16 years of doing this is really rushing the design or planning. And you rush the design or planning, that's when you get into circumstances where there's a lot of surprises, and surprises wind up costing more and taking longer, and then nobody's happy at the end. So this is a list of a lot of the steps involved. I'm not going to go through all of these. It'd take a long time to do. But I will say step 0, start with a realistic budget range. And this is where I just could not find a lot of good information, or really any good information online about this. But start with a realistic budget range, because if it doesn't make sense from a budget range, then the rest of the things don't make sense. I usually at this point will start off with just looking at an addition at $350 a square foot. And that's, in the examples that I've shown you, those have all had bedrooms, bathrooms, so forth. If you're building a room over a garage and there's already a second floor and you're not going to have to put a staircase in and there's no utilities and no air conditioning and stuff over the garage, then that number is going to be too high. But what I find in most cases is that's not usually the case. Usually we're creating a master suite or something more complex than that. If you're just creating a game room, that wouldn't apply. If you looked at that and said, if I'm putting 1,000 square feet on and it was $350 a square foot, it's $350,000. Does it make sense to invest time and money and emotion in planning and design or not? Because that's really as this is step 0, it's before the rest of them. So additions can be more, additions can be less, but if you started off looking at it from that standpoint, you can see if it's realistic and feasible for you. If you want more information, please feel free to reach out to us. You can reach me in my office at 214-281-8800. You can always visit us too at alairhomes.com/Plano, and you can get our contact information there. Happy to help answer any questions that you have, regardless of who you wind up working with. The only goal for us is to help you guys find the right paths for you. Take care.